Welcome back, dear listeners, to another episode of Within and Without, A Path to Mindful Living. I'm Arya Elina, and I'm thrilled to have you with us as we continue this journey through the Bhagavad Gita, uncovering its timeless wisdom for modern life. Last time, we explored Chapter 14, where Krishna introduced us to the three gunas, the qualities of nature that influence every aspect of our lives. Together with Rayan, we reflected on how recognizing and transcending these qualities can help us live with greater balance and freedom. Today we turn to Chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga, or the Yoga of the Supreme Person. This chapter takes us deeper into the cosmic framework of existence, using the beautiful metaphor of the upside-down tree to describe the impermanence of the material world and the eternal nature of the self. Krishna reveals that understanding and aligning with the Supreme Person, the divine essence, is the ultimate goal of life. Joining me, as always, is my thoughtful co-host, Rayan Wells. Rayan, Chapter 15 feels like one of the most poetic and profound chapters in the Gita. The upside-down tree is such a vivid image, its roots in the heavens and branches spreading downward, entangling us in the material world. What's your take on this chapter?
Thanks, Arya. I agree that this chapter is beautifully poetic, but I also think it's one of the most challenging to grasp. The metaphor of the tree is powerful, but it raises a big question. How do we navigate our daily lives while staying rooted in the eternal? It's one thing to talk about detachment, it's another thing to practice it in a world full of responsibilities and distractions.
That's a fair point, Rayan. And I think Krishna acknowledges this challenge by offering practical guidance throughout the chapter. The tree represents the material world, but Krishna reminds us that by identifying with its roots, the eternal self, we can live with clarity and purpose, even amidst life's complexities.
I see your point, Arya, but I'd argue that this focus on detachment might feel alienating for some people. After all, the branches of the tree, family, work, passions, are what give our lives meaning. If we detach too much, do we risk losing the richness of human experience?
That's an interesting perspective, Rayan, and one I'm sure many listeners can relate to. But I'd argue that detachment isn't about abandoning the branches, it's about not clinging to them. Krishna isn't asking us to give up life's joys and responsibilities. He's inviting us to engage with them from a place of freedom, grounded in the eternal. As we dive into this chapter, we'll explore Krishna's teachings on the upside-down tree, the eternal self, and the Supreme Person, along with how these insights can guide us in navigating life with wisdom and balance. Before we begin, a quick reminder. If you've been enjoying this series, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Within and Without, A Path to Mindful Living. Subscribing helps you stay connected to future episodes and supports our growing community of seekers. Now, let's embark on this journey into Chapter 15. Rayan, are you ready?
Absolutely, Arya. Let's dive in and uncover the layers of this profound chapter.
Let's begin with Krishna's metaphor of the upside-down tree. He describes a tree with its roots in the heavens and branches growing downward toward the earth. The branches are nourished by the qualities of nature, the gunas, and they entangle us in the material world. Rayan, how do you interpret this image?
It's a vivid representation of the human condition, Arya. The tree symbolizes the material world, with its branches representing desires, attachments, and distractions. Krishna reminds us that while we may get caught up in the branches, our true essence lies in the roots, the eternal self. It's a call to focus on what's unchanging, even as we navigate the complexities of life.
Exactly, Rayan. But I'd argue that this metaphor also highlights the importance of discernment. Not all branches are entangling. Some can lead us back to the roots. For instance, acts of service, mindfulness, or devotion can deepen our connection to the eternal. Do you think Krishna is calling for complete detachment, or is there room for engaging with the branches meaningfully?
I think there's a balance to be struck, Arya. Krishna's emphasis on detachment can feel absolute, but I believe he's inviting us to engage with the world without losing sight of our roots. The challenge is knowing when a branch supports our growth and when it becomes a source of entanglement.
That's such a nuanced perspective, Rayan. And Krishna provides further clarity by introducing the concept of the Supreme Person, or Purushottama. He explains that the Supreme Person transcends both the material and spiritual realms, embodying the ultimate reality. How do you see this idea influencing our understanding of life's purpose?
It's transformative, Arya. Krishna's teaching that the Supreme Person is the source and sustainer of all life invites us to live with humility and devotion. Recognizing that we are part of this greater whole can inspire us to align our actions with a higher purpose. But I also think it raises questions about free will. If everything flows from the Supreme Person, how much control do we really have over our lives?
That's a fascinating question, Rayan. I'd argue that Krishna's teaching empowers us by showing that while the Supreme Person is the source, we still have the freedom to choose how we engage with the branches of the tree. Our choices determine whether we stay entangled or rise above the influence of the material world. Listeners, as you reflect on these teachings, consider this. What branches in your life feel most entangling, and how might reconnecting with your roots, the eternal self, help you navigate them with greater freedom? As we continue, we'll explore the historical and cultural context of Krishna's metaphor and its universal significance.
That's a powerful reflection, Arya. Let's dive into the roots of this metaphor and its connections to spiritual traditions worldwide.
The metaphor of the upside-down tree is one of the most striking images in the Bhagavad Gita, but it's not unique to this text. Rayan, the concept of a cosmic tree, appears in many traditions, particularly in the Vedic literature. How do you see its roots in these ancient texts?
It's fascinating, Arya. In the Vedic tradition, the cosmic tree often symbolizes the connection between the heavens, earth, and the underworld. It represents the entire structure of existence, with its roots in the divine and its branches spreading through the material world. Krishna adapts this metaphor in the Gita to highlight the transient nature of the material and the eternal nature of the spiritual.
Exactly, Rayan. And what I find so profound about Krishna's version of the metaphor is its focus on detachment. The tree isn't just a symbol of connection, it's also a reminder of the entanglements we face. Krishna invites us to cut the ties that bind us to the branches and rediscover our connection to the roots. But do you think this perspective risks undervaluing the beauty and purpose of the branches?
That's a valid concern, Arya. The branches represent the material world, which includes family, work, and creativity, all of which can bring immense joy and meaning. I don't think Krishna is dismissing these aspects of life, but he's warning us against losing ourselves in them. The key is to engage with the branches while staying rooted in the eternal.
Fair point, Rayan. And this balance between engagement and detachment appears in other traditions as well. In Christianity, for instance, there's the idea of laying up treasures in heaven rather than on earth. This teaching echoes Krishna's call to focus on the eternal rather than the transient. How do you see this connection?
It's a powerful parallel, Arya. Both Krishna and Jesus emphasize the importance of aligning with the eternal. In Christianity, this often means living with faith, hope, and love, qualities that transcend the material world. Similarly, Krishna teaches that by anchoring ourselves in the eternal, we can navigate the material world without being consumed by it.
And in indigenous traditions, the sacred tree often represents the interconnectedness of life. Many Native American cultures see the tree as a bridge between the earth and the heavens, embodying the cycles of growth, death, and renewal. This perspective resonates deeply with Krishna's metaphor. What insights can we draw from these traditions?
They remind us of the sacredness of balance, Arya. Indigenous traditions emphasize that life's branches, our relationships, work, and environment, are connected and should be honored. Krishna's teaching to detach from the branches doesn't mean rejecting them. It means approaching them with reverence and clarity, recognizing their place in the larger whole.
Beautifully said, Rayan. And in Buddhism, we see a similar emphasis on detachment through the teachings on impermanence and non-attachment. The Buddha teaches that clinging to transient things causes suffering, much like Krishna's warning about getting entangled in the branches of the tree. How does this deepen our understanding of Krishna's message?
Both traditions highlight the importance of awareness, Arya. By recognizing the impermanence of the branches, we can let go of clinging and align ourselves with what's eternal. Krishna's metaphor invites us to see the material world not as an obstacle, but as a reflection of the divine that helps us grow in wisdom and compassion.
Listeners, as you reflect on this historical and cultural context, consider how Krishna's metaphor of the tree resonates with your own experiences. Which branches feel most nourishing and which feel entangling? And how might reconnecting with your roots, the eternal self, transform your perspective?
That's a powerful reflection, Arya. And as we move forward, we'll explore how Krishna's teachings on the upside-down tree can be applied to modern life, offering practical tools for balance and awareness.
Krishna's metaphor of the upside-down tree isn't just a poetic image. It's a profound guide for understanding the dynamics of modern life. Rayan, how do you see this metaphor reflected in today's world, especially with all the distractions and demands we face?
It's incredibly relevant, Arya. The branches of the tree represent the many aspects of modern life: work, relationships, technology, and ambitions. These branches can be beautiful and meaningful, but they can also become overwhelming when we lose sight of our roots. The challenge is finding a balance between engaging with the branches and staying grounded in our eternal essence.
Exactly, Rayan. And Krishna's teaching about identifying with the roots rather than the branches is so powerful. It reminds us that our true identity isn't tied to our achievements, possessions, or even our roles. It's rooted in the eternal self. How might this understanding help someone struggling with feelings of inadequacy or burnout?
It's transformative, Arya. When we identify with the eternal self, we're less likely to be defined by external validation or failures. This perspective helps us approach challenges with resilience and detachment, recognizing that our worth isn't tied to the fluctuations of life. Practices like mindfulness, gratitude, and reframing challenges as opportunities can reinforce this connection to the roots.
And for those navigating significant transitions, Krishna's metaphor offers another layer of wisdom. The branches of the tree are always growing, shedding, and regenerating, just like the seasons of our lives. How might this cyclical perspective help someone facing change or loss?
It's a comforting reminder, Arya, that change is part of the natural order. Krishna's teaching encourages us to trust the process and find strength in our roots, even as the branches shift. This perspective can help us embrace change as an opportunity for growth rather than a loss.
Beautifully said, Rayan. And Krishna also emphasizes the importance of connecting with the Supreme Person, or Purushottama. By aligning with the divine essence, we transcend the dualities of the material world and find a sense of unity and purpose. How can this teaching inspire modern practices like meditation or acts of service?
It's deeply inspiring, Arya. Meditation helps us connect with the eternal self, quieting the mind and aligning with the divine presence within. Acts of service, on the other hand, remind us that the branches of life are interconnected. By serving others, we honor the roots that sustain us all. These practices bring Krishna's teachings to life in tangible ways.
Listeners, as you reflect on Krishna's teachings, consider this. What branches in your life feel most nourishing, and which feel entangling? How might identifying with your roots, the eternal self, help you navigate life's complexities with greater clarity and peace?
It's a profound reflection, Arya.
Up next, Rayan and I will explore how Krishna's teachings on the upside-down tree resonate with spiritual traditions around the world. Rayan, let's start with how this idea connects to Christian teachings. How do you see parallels between Krishna's tree and the Christian focus on seeking eternal treasures?
Great question, Arya. In Christianity, Jesus often speaks about the impermanence of worldly possessions and the importance of focusing on spiritual values. The phrase, "lay up treasures in heaven," aligns beautifully with Krishna's call to identify with the eternal roots of the tree rather than the transient branches. Both teachings emphasize that true fulfillment comes from aligning with the divine rather than material pursuits.
Exactly, Rayan. And in Buddhism, the concept of impermanence offers another lens to understand Krishna's metaphor. The Buddha teaches that clinging to transient things, whether material or emotional, leads to suffering. This mirrors Krishna's warning about becoming entangled in the branches of the tree. How do you see these teachings complementing each other?
They complement each other beautifully, Arya. Both Krishna and the Buddha invite us to observe life's impermanence without clinging or resistance. While Krishna emphasizes detachment through the metaphor of the tree, the Buddha offers practical tools like mindfulness and meditation to cultivate this detachment. Together, these teachings remind us that freedom comes from aligning with what is eternal.
And in indigenous traditions, the sacred tree often symbolizes life's interconnectedness. Many Native American cultures view the tree as a bridge between the earth and the heavens, embodying the cycles of life, death, and renewal. This perspective resonates deeply with Krishna's teaching that the tree represents the material and the spiritual, interconnected yet distinct. What insights can we draw from this comparison?
They remind us, Arya, that the branches and roots are not in opposition. They're part of the same system. Indigenous traditions teach us to honor both the material and the spiritual, recognizing their interconnectedness. Krishna's metaphor invites us to approach the branches with reverence while staying anchored in the roots, creating a life of harmony and purpose.
Beautifully said, Rayan. And modern spiritual teachers like Sadhguru and Eckhart Tolle also echo these themes. Sadhguru speaks about aligning with the universal intelligence, which is akin to staying rooted in the eternal self, while Tolle emphasizes living in the present moment, free from attachment to the past or future. How do these perspectives enhance our understanding of Krishna's message?
And they make it incredibly practical, Arya. Sadhguru reminds us that by connecting with the source, the roots, we can navigate life's branches with wisdom. Tolle's focus on presence mirrors Krishna's invitation to live in the moment, free from the entanglements of the material world. Both perspectives bring Krishna's teachings to life in ways that are accessible and relevant to modern seekers.
Listeners, as you reflect on these interfaith connections, think about how Krishna's metaphor of the tree resonates with your own beliefs and practices. What roots keep you grounded, and how do they influence the way you navigate the branches of your life?
Powerful reflection, Arya.
Before we close today's episode, let's take a moment to reflect on Krishna's profound teachings in Chapter 15. The metaphor of the upside-down tree offers us a lens to understand the dynamics of life. The branches represent our experiences, relationships, and responsibilities, while the roots anchor us in the eternal self. Krishna reminds us that by staying connected to our roots, we can navigate life's branches with freedom and clarity. Now, I'd love to hear from you, our listeners. Here are a few questions to guide your reflections. 1. What branches in your life feel most nourishing, and which feel entangling? 2. How might reconnecting with your roots, the eternal self, help you navigate life's challenges with greater peace? 3. What practices help you align with the eternal and stay grounded amidst life's complexities?
These are fantastic questions, Arya, and listeners, remember, the goal isn't to reject life's branches, it's to engage with them from a place of freedom and balance. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them with us in the comments or on social media.
And if today's discussion resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Within and Without, A Path to Mindful Living. Subscribing helps you stay connected to future episodes and supports our growing community of mindful seekers. Together, we can continue exploring these timeless teachings and their relevance to modern life. Rayan, as we wrap up, what's one key takeaway you'd like our listeners to carry with them from Chapter 15?
For me, Arya, it's Krishna's reminder that while the branches of life are important, they're not the whole story. Our true essence lies in the roots, the eternal self. By staying connected to our roots, we can engage with the branches without losing ourselves in them. It's a teaching that brings both clarity and peace.
Beautifully said, Rayan. And listeners, as Krishna teaches us, living with awareness of the eternal isn't about escaping life. It's about living it fully, with purpose and connection. In our next episode, we'll explore Chapter 16, the yoga of the divine and the demonic, where Krishna contrasts qualities that lead to spiritual growth with those that create division and conflict. It's a chapter that challenges us to examine our actions and intentions, and we can't wait to share it with you. Until then, stay mindful, stay grounded, and remember, the roots of who you are eternal. Thank you for joining us on Within and Without, A Path to Mindful Living, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.
Join us on Within and Without, A Path to Mindful Living, as we explore the art of mindfulness together. Subscribe to our channel for more insights and practices to bring mindfulness into your everyday life.